These are action plan. And it is due Friday. Yeah, so you can fill it out. I can take it to Mill Ram.
You can have this one. Harry drank one.
This is.
Take it off and sit with our mask on,
Put
right?
your input in the, what we doing over the city finance. Hey, I need. I know you gotta have my meeting. I heard you were out. Come on, I don't do that. I know she's there. For you. It's about the whole world. Now you walk in and be arguing like you do at the field tonight. We gonna work. We together. It's about all of it. It's more than this. So it's not just about the ABC. So excuse the date. Fill this out. It's due Friday. Resident participation. So you go out and you say what the funding is doing. This is from building and housing. Okay. I was trying to get personally, it's due Friday. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. So we fill this out.
I didn't hear you. No, this is more than just for the ABC, this is for the whole board. Oh. Yeah, this is for the whole board. I want you all to know, it's for the whole board. Oh, I'm coming. So this is an excuse to date building house. These surveys are due Fridays. Once you have to fill them out, I'm gonna turn you in person tomorrow. So you want to have some input. Yeah, please. You want to have some. Mr. Martin. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna feel like yeah, because I'm so
We are, this is about the whole board. You haven't been treated. You just didn't understand.
I guess
Other people have concern and the stuff in the board and just.
the way I said, I should have said, come to the city meeting.
That's exactly what's on the paper. Did you read the paper? Did you read the paper?
They say homeless service, what type of homeless service? I don't know who's right.
Grab it. I got your friend right here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Chair for you. Hey, okay. Everyone out to serve.
Yeah, I mean,
How you doing?
okay, very good.
What's up, folks? Randy Mills, these are the building house. Nice. This is back here. We still have to get the, thank you. Yeah, put that to bid. I mean, chief. You want to go around? How you doing? Good. Mayor?
Councilman. You see, I got you glass of water. Someone gets a little thirsty, a little hot outside. We just put it,
Yeah, this slide right there.
matter of fact, if you got the mic, I'll put it back here.
Well, y'all see how the tricks is going on? It's a shame. Yeah, I'll show it now. Hey, you know, hey, I'm learning. I see you. Oh, I'm learning. At least one what he did. He come. He don't say hello. Ms. Hatcher is passing out the schedule for all the meetings, all the committee meetings.
I think we're gonna have enough.
That's a blessing. I mean, I underestimated the crowd. We definitely can get it. Yes, ma'am.
We're out for this.
Ms. Hatcher.
You make coffee. We gotta fill that role here. Yeah, just let it in there.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. How are you, Councilman?
Bless, how are you?
Somebody else.
You have any? Come on in, join us. Come on in. How you guys doing? We want to drop that snowman.
It's got notes in it, so you might need it.
Medicine. Okay.
I'll leave it with you just in case.
Now here, let me get you this. So excuse the date.
Not a problem.
Building the house, I had a meeting on this day to fill out these surveys for
Mhm.
participation. If you could be so kind as to fill one out now, the due date is
You need
Friday.
one for each of us or just one per household?
It won't hurt for you.
Okay,
folks.
all right.
And I'll turn it in myself tomorrow personally. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's 6:10.
We're gonna make some more copies if anybody wants them. And it's important that we hold on to these and make sure that we get to these meetings. We fill this up every week. Whenever they're scheduled to have a meeting, we need to fill these seats.
Yes, ma'am. We're gonna get started. Mhm. You should get a survey. Make sure everybody get a survey. Survey? Yeah. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. This is a survey, so you can put your input in on where the funding is going. It's due Friday, so if you be so kind as to fill out tonight, I'll turn it in for myself personally tomorrow. All right? Just everybody. And I'll turn it in myself tomorrow.
We have another 8.
We should have. So kind of- Thank you. No, it's level seat over here. And level seat. Does everyone have a survey and everyone has a sheet,
Survey over here.
survey over here? And everyone has a list of the committee meetings and,
Hey.
hey there, how you doing? Please fill it out and be so kind of fill it out, and I have to turn it in tomorrow because it's due Friday. Definitely want to make sure that people have input. So, as you can see, I consider us already getting started. So, I mean, we already started, but I officially want to say hello. I wait till everybody settle down. Wait till everybody settle down.
Anybody else have anything want to give?
That's a good thing. All right. Welcome to the City of East Cleveland Ward 3 meeting. Our first in-person meeting since we had a Ward 3 meeting on the corner of Scioto last summer. But because of the COVID, I know that it's the elected officials' responsibility to keep the people safe, and I was kind of afraid to have get-togethers. But since it calmed down a little bit, even though it's kind of might be picking back up, want to take advantage of this time and have a Ward 3 meeting. My plan is to have a Ward 3 meeting here on the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday of each month. Why? Because I believe that it's very important to be transparent, especially in these times that transparency is needed. Not only transparent, but we need to get the information out to the people. We need to make sure that the people have the information, and we need to be available in case we need to be held, well, I speak for myself, in case I need to be held accountable for any reason. So I'll be here on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month. I think a lot of you all know that times we'll be switching it up and we'll be meeting on various corners throughout Ward 3 and maybe various churches throughout Ward 3. But I think the consensus is great that this is a great location, especially for today, right here in the center of the city, the heart of the city, City Hall. And as my neighbor, Miss Hatcher, always said, that we need to get more people to City Hall, to these meetings and things of that nature. So I really want to thank you for coming. First off, I want to start with the prayer, because I believe that we need prayer in everything we do, especially here in the great city of East Cleveland. So I want to ask, because it's not all about me, I want to ask if they're a volunteer, that we can all stand up in solidarity together, anybody who would love to lead us in prayer. In the meantime, I ask that everyone rise up.
Let us have a conversation, then we're gonna pray together.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes. Lord God, thank you for this opportunity to come together, Lord God, to find one accord, to do the thing that you would have us to do. Lord God, we thank you for bringing us here safely. Lord God, we ask that you watch over our homes while we're here, taking care of the business that you would have us to take care of. In your name we pray, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. For the record, this is a Ward 3 meeting. I want to thank my colleagues that showed up. For those of you who know the rules inside and out, this is not a council meeting. It wasn't posted as a council meeting. It just so happened, and I'm grateful for 2 of my colleagues to attend. I'm grateful. I want to thank our clerk, Ms. Tracy, who put together our all this information for me and staying overtime to serve the people. I also want to thank our guests. We have the mayor, we have Mayor King, we have the chief of staff, Michael Smedley. We have our finance director, Charles Ian. We have the mayor's assistant, Belinda Kyle. And of course, most important, I want to acknowledge Councilwoman Juanita Gotti. So, and of course, I want to acknowledge you, the great people of East Cleveland. Thank you for coming. Now, I have a few guests that I've asked to attend tonight, so I want to start off with my special guest. The residents from the Forest Hill Terrace building. Can you please rise, please? I asked the residents of the Forest Hill Terrace to come because their issue is our issue. And when I mean by our, I don't mean elected officials, I mean the people, all of ours. They're going through a lot at their building, but what they are also doing is organizing, being an example for these, for residents that get treated like they are getting treated. Usually, the residents don't show up to the meetings when asked, or not because all the time that they don't want to, maybe things just happen. So I've asked, I know we on a time limit, but I thought it was very, very important for your neighbors to hear just a little touch of what's going on. We have been, myself and various others have been meeting with the Forest Terrace building for the past few weeks. Me, myself, was meeting with the Forest Terrace building before the pandemic. I met a lot of new faces, and I look forward to helping these new faces. I've asked the mayor to come down to hear you all's concerns. I've met with the building manager. The residents say that the building manager is not giving me the straight up truth. There's a meeting at the building this Thursday morning at 10 a.m. The building manager says the residents never come, and the residents say the building manager just started having meetings when we started meeting. Mm-hmm. And if that's true, they understand that because of organizing together. Mm-hmm. It makes a difference. We understand that this is a marathon, not a race. Mm-hmm. So if you in it for the short bid, I have to tell you, it's going to be a long race to get us. All those complaints and people getting moved out of apartments to the other one, woke up from construction with no warning, have a resident that say she got robbed and can't get her thing back up. So I want to have you all, Ms. Green, if you would like to indulge us, come on now. We on the time limit, and I will go to each one of them. Just tell Justin. We know about here.
Okay, I stand right here.
You can talk to the people.
Okay. Well, what I would like to say.
And all of this is going on the record, like I said.
Well, I'd like to
Take your
say.
mask down, hon. You took your mask down. It's recording.
Okay, I know. But anyway, I'm here today because we having a lot of problem at 1400 Forest Hill Terrace for the senior citizens. The people that's there now, they don't have any respect for us. They're making us move out in 5 days. In 5 days, you got to be out of the apartments before they, and they put you anywhere they want to put you. People are dying and sick and just about to lose their mind at the things that we are going through with that building. We need help. We need somebody to come in there and help us get these 3 buildings straightened out. You know, it's not our fault that people have to come in from other places, come and hurt senior citizens' feelings. We should have to take that. We live in our last days, and we should be living in our apartment so that we can enjoy ourselves before we leave out this world. You understand what I'm saying? So what we are here for, we are sick and tired of being treated like we are nobody, because we are somebody. You know, I got a mother here that's 91 years old, and her husband is 100. And I will let nobody mistreat her. If I know anything about it, I would have something to say. So that's all I got to say. We need help to get these people straightened out because we are senior citizens.
Right.
Like he said, although they had moved us from our apartment building, we was in, into another building that wasn't even completely done. They had moved us to an apartment building they were still working in, and they still working in there. They take so long giving us things that we need for ourselves, like mailbox key. It took them 3 months to give me a mailbox key. 3 months. We don't have screens. I don't have screens in my window. No screens in my window at all. The building is just going down since these new people took over. They don't really care about us senior citizens. They don't care about us at all. I know one thing, the word is going around that they certain things they do things for and don't do for others. And that's not right. We all senior citizens, everybody that pay their rent, we should all get the same thing. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Miss Mixon, Deborah Mixon. And one of my main grievances is the way they
Just
treat
speak up.
people. I got my mask on because see, I'm a cancer patient and I do not, but I'm gonna have to try to talk louder. My grievance is I have medical letters here from my doctors, okay? I would like you to read the items that's on here. I brought these items to Mr. White on May the 5th. I called back in a couple of weeks. He told me that he still didn't have my approval that I needed to make this move on me easier. Then I went back a second time, like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks after. I had to re-give him my papers. To this day, he hasn't said anything to me about my papers being approved. What he told me was, I don't know what to tell you. Now, other people in the complex, they brought in their medical papers, they was approved 3 days to a week. It's been months for me, months. And I don't understand it. They've been trying to move me. They first came to me on a Friday at 4:45. Go tell me, Miss Nixon, we moving you Wednesday. Okay? And I told her, no, you're not. Because I'm going to stand up for myself. I've been dealing with a lot this year. I've been dealt with my husband died from COVID, December the 26th. I had surgery on April the 8th. Okay? I keep telling these people I have a lot of medical issues. She tried to move me on the 8th floor, on the 7th floor, on the 6th floor, when I'm telling her I'm vertical. Okay? I explained to this lady when I moved in this complex, I turned down 3 other apartments because of my issues. I need one that was comfortable for me. You're not gonna just move me anywhere. So far, I haven't moved because I've been refusing. So I know the next thing they're gonna do, they're gonna try to get rid of me.
You can't do that.
I'm not worried about it because I'm a fighter.
There you go.
Okay, you're not gonna just do anything to
That's
me.
right, that's right.
You know, the reason I came here is to have some peace to deal with my ailments. I get on the elevator. I had to tell the workers to get off the elevator. I stood there 20 minutes trying to get to my appointments. Okay? I had a confrontation with the movers. For one thing, they're not bonded.
Right.
I mean, how is they letting these people continue to tear up all our personal property
Right.
and don't do nothing about it?
Right.
They want to lie to us and tell us they bonded like we stupid. How many of y'all in here stupid? I know I ain't. Okay, we done got tired of this mess. And this right here is only part of the medical issues that I'm dealing with. And I told them that I had to go back and get a second letter to prove I was vertical. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chantal.
Hi, my name is Deborah Artis, and like she said, they have no love, no compassion or whatsoever for any of the elders. And they had like what, one lady on the 8th floor, she's about, I don't know, maybe in her 90s or something. And they told her, you have to move your own stuff or throw it away. They talked to her like she was crashed, you know, and it didn't make no sense. So we all went downstairs and stood up for her, you know, and they didn't like that. And I told her, look, I'm on Section 8. She said, no, you're not. You're a choice voucher. And I told her, I said, you got things wrong. I'm Section 8, okay? So maybe 2 weeks ago, Mr. White come to my door, he knocks on it, and he has some eviction papers in his hands. And so he says, well, are you ready to move? I was like, no, you don't have the proper papers for me to move. You know, Section 8 has rules and regulations also. Now, as to their rules and regulations is you have to have a permit to move a person on Section 8, okay? Now, he wanted me to go over their head to move. And I lose my Section 8 that way. And a lot of people are there on Section 8, which they already moved them, and I'm quite sure they don't have the proper papers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still waiting on my papers. They've mailed them out yesterday, so I'm waiting on them. But in the meantime, the lock on my mailbox has been knocked off, taken off or whatever. And I haven't received any mail since last Tuesday, except for one piece of mail yesterday, and that came late that night. Anyways, he gave me a 10-day eviction notice after taking me down to Section 8 and told me when I get my papers back that I won't be living there or moving into any apartment. I have to move away from there. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm just stuck. And besides, he moved everybody off the 3rd floor except me. I'm on the 3rd floor by myself. So I do what I have to do. You know, and besides all of that, they got people up there running in people's apartments, and especially mine. And the lady downstairs was on 2nd, but she on the 4th floor now, stealing your belongings and whatever. And that's crazy. I don't understand. You're disrespectful, and half of those people, new people up there, you don't even know their real name.
Right.
Ms. Artis. Thank you, Ms. Artis.
Yeah.
We have one more resident from the forest come on up, brother.
I'll make mine short. Me, for my part, my name is Eddie Hicks.
Eddie,
And I've been around there for Eddie Hicks. I've been around there for 18 years. And when they started that, they said that you need a medical letter from your doctor in order to keep your apartment. I lived on 2. And so I went to the doctor, ran the letter back, gave it to Mr. White. And so when they got ready to move, I said, would I get my apartment back? He said, no, it had been approved and all this stuff. And I told him about my medical issue. I've been hit twice by a car. I had 2 accidents. And my right leg got 8 pins in that. I said, I really like that flow because I've been there for 18 years there since I've been there. You know, it's easy for me to get from 2 to 1, you know, to the outside without fooling with the elevator. And so they brought this lady named Miss Ball. I don't know who she is, but anyway, she said, this is your apartment up on 5. Okay, they put me up on 5. The first night I went up there, wasn't no lights up there. I had to get a flashlight to go to the bathroom. Now, the next thing up there, before it's so slippery, you gotta walk. If you ain't got barefoot or something, you might even fall on the floor up there, it's so slippery. And then my blinds and like the drapes over there ain't so filthy dirty, they won't change them. And then my screen, I ain't got no screen up there. And I've been up there for over a week now. But I asked for my apartment back this time, I would not get back because they used the 1st and 3rd floor for handicapped people. Okay, if my knees are messed up, I'm not handicapped. Tell me that. You see, I got torn ligament.
State your name for the record.
Yeah, I did Eddie Hicks.
Okay, Mr. Henry.
He got it.
Absolutely. Right.
I just make mine short, that's all.
Short and powerful. Short and powerful.
My name is Calvin Elliott.
Elliot.
They were saying about all the stuff, like the moving, you need boxes, tape, you know, stuff like that. They don't give you but like 4 boxes, you know, you live in a household, but you got more than need 4 boxes. The security, subpar. I mean, objects flying from rooftops for the people doing the restoring the building. The side door at 9 o'clock is closed in the wintertime. That's a bad thing, you know, it's because they cut the lights out in the back, so you can't see. Okay, the movers not leaving the complex at the end of the day. The workers taking advantage of the residents, the asbestos removal, not the right equipment and so forth, asthmatic uniforms and so forth. They walking in and out the doors like that, like it's nothing. Then they get on the elevator, which is talking and stuff to the breathe because it's an airborne thing here. The communication with the staff, the communication with the whole place, you know, they not communicating with the people about what they're doing, how they're doing it, you know what I'm saying? And maybe let's talk to them, maybe they can have a better result, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just placing them at places. And like I said, like my car got broken, well, they took the catalytic converter out night before last, you know what I'm saying? Because security guys don't be around there. And the lights in the back is dark, pitch black, so what can you say? And who going to reimburse me and stuff like that? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. I want to thank our sisters and brothers, neighbors from the Forest Hill Terrace building. I felt it was very, very important to not only keep meeting every Tuesday, but to come to City Hall and put their grievances on the record. So I really want to thank the residents of the Forest Hill Terrace building. Now, according to my agenda, I want to open it up. It's been too long. It's been too long since we last saw each other. I know some of you have things on your mind, whether it's positive, negative. I know you've been waiting a long time to meet in person, as you have told me over the weekend when I was promoting this very important gathering. So now is that time, starting with our neighbor, Ms. Walcott. If you have any concerns, we have the appropriate people here. We have our colleagues here. We have the mayor here. We have the finance director here. We have staff here. So we have plenty of people to take down your concern. Thank you.
Where's the community development director? Okay, I feel like a broke record. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mayor, and councilors. Thank you for this forum, Councilor Smith. Yeah, so like I say, I sound like a broke record. We need our street paved on 3rd Avenue. We got some potholes put in, now they're all gone. So there's holes like, like one of the former council people used to say, it's like ditches. That's what Mildred Brewer used to say all the time, it's ditches in the street. Also on the corner of Hayden and 3rd Avenue, the old B&M building. I don't know what's going on with that, but there's a lot of trash piled up in the back of it. It's like almost half as high as the building. Also on the corner, right on the same corner, there's an old telephone pole that belongs, I called the telephone companies several years ago. The guy came by my house and told me it belonged to the city. You know, that old payphone right on the corner of 3rd Avenue. So it belongs to the city, and it's the city's responsibility if they want to move it. But if they want to keep the unsightly pole there, which has been there for the last 10 years, and so be it. Also, I would like to get from the council, request from the council, a legislative docket of all the legislation that have been presented in the last year and a half and the disposition of all of it. Because I'm sure that's something that we could,
Madam Clerk,
as
can we
public.
have that ASAP?
Yeah,
to Ms.
legislative
Walcott and any
docket.
other residents who would like that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walcott. Any other, before I get, I do have some more special guests, and I know you all want to ask questions, we'll get to. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I beg you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Shirley Odom, and I live on Savannah Avenue. And one of the concerns that I have, our street, I live, well, it used to be about 7 houses from the corner of Savannah and Allegheny. Of course, a lot of the houses have been torn down. So I'm still in the same house for 50 years. So, but the concern I have, and I know before they tore the apartment building down on the corner of Allegheny and Savannah, the police used to come and they sit, you know, because now it's like a speedway. Not so much the cars that are coming down Savannah, but the cars on Allegheny, there's a 4-way stop. And it's I sit on my porch. I love sitting on my porch. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and that was something that I always enjoyed doing, sitting on the porch. And I'm out there, weather permitting, almost every day. And I can sit there and I tell you, you can count almost every car that don't stop. It's like a speedway. They just fly down the street. And I am so concerned that at some point, there's going to be a bad accident there. Right at this, now, there's no building on, the apartment building's gone, cat a corner to it, the house on the corner is gone. So I guess there's nowhere that they can actually sit that people don't really pay them any attention if they came and they sat in that spot. The other concern I have on the corner, and I know that I put it on the list, there's a vacant house right on the corner of Allegheny and Savannah. Has bushes that grow around it. And I have to admit, I have called, and most of the time when I call, oh God, I can't think of his name. Antonio, thank you. Antonio, I call him personally, and he has come out, and if he don't do it that day or, you know, whatever, he said, I'll do it. And each time he has come, because when you're get to that point, and actually my daughter lives at the house next to it, you can't see coming out of the drive. And he has come and he's taken care of that each time that I've asked him. But that house it needs to come down, and I have put it on the list when we were able to do our listing from the streets. So far it hasn't. I don't know where about it is on the list, but it would be greatly appreciated if it could be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Thank you very much, Ms. Hall.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sarah Haynes. I live 1486 East 134th Street. And my concern about these backyards, we do the front sometime, but so much trash is in the back. And that causes rats and roaches and everything. My other concern is about these people walking these dogs. They don't pick up behind the dogs at all. And I've been begging and asking, look like we could get an inspector in East Cleveland. That's what we really need in East Cleveland. Somebody to come by and inspect these places, because it's terrible. How are we gonna clean up East Cleveland if we don't start with ourselves? We got to start with home training. We have people hanging clothes on the porch. Don't even have a line, put them up out in the yard. That's terrible. And I hope and trust this year that we can get an inspector, because I know that if we have an inspector, he will make his own salary by just coming out looking. I remember years ago in East Cleveland, we had inspectors. And when you look around, they were in your back door or coming in your house, and you couldn't even have extension cord in there. Putting trash out on Wednesdays and Thursdays. On Wednesday, Monday, Sunday. Used to couldn't put trash out until after 5 o'clock on a Thursday evening. Now chairs and everything is sitting out in front of the houses. And another thing, I know the mayor and everybody else is tired of me talking about them cars parked on my street. I have a 100-year-old husband. He have hospice. He have other doctors coming in. And I have those people coming from the state. And these white women don't even want to come in. In fact, white people don't want to come here no way. I can't even get right. Every time I stop and ask them about doing my yard, coming into Cleveland, they say, we don't come into East Cleveland to do no yard. And this lady was coming out of my house. And she had just told me, she said, you know what? I had to walk from the end of the street here. She said, I was afraid. So then when she got ready to leave, I walked to the door with her. And a black man was walking down the street. I don't think he was gonna bother her, but I don't know. She don't know. She started walking fast, then she started running. And it's terrible. I don't want nothing else to happen on 134th Street. Not long as I'm there. You hear? I don't want nothing to happen. Those cars be parked out there for months. And I remember the time that you couldn't park a car out there overnight unless you got a ticket. Now they park 5, 6, and 8 cars on the street. When people come, it's no place to park. So I think we should, if we don't have those in the rule, I think East Cleveland should make some new rules, because we cannot continue like this in East Cleveland and think that we're gonna survive. We talk about the mayor, but we got to start with our own self and stop all this your friendship mess. Friendship is one thing and business is another one. And if we get down to business, we can do something. See, that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Ms. Haynes, just to let you know, we do have a couple brand new building inspectors. I can introduce 3 of them, matter of fact. But you are correct. I'm not saying you are not correct. But you are correct. So I hope that at least bring a half a smile to the fact that we do have 3 new.
My name is San Bonita Best. I live on 3rd Avenue. I think my sister has spoke about everything that's going wrong on our street. But on a positive note, I thank whoever is responsible for the groundhog people that are coming and setting out traps on our street. They've been coming every other day. And if you call, they said, if the people on the street call, they will set traps out. And they have been coming and catching these groundhogs. Also, across the street from us, a house was torn down. There was old furniture and stuff inside the house. They didn't come and move that. All that old furniture is still piled up next to the other old house that needs to be torn down. And I'm sure it will be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Best. Well, we move on to the next part of our presentation tonight. Is there any other resident that would like to make an open statement? Hearing none, before we move on, I want to acknowledge a young man passed away the other day via tragic accident from another officer involved chase. That family is here, so I would like to acknowledge that family. If you would like to stand up, please. Chase. If this family would like to have a word.
People sit up there. Sit up there. Yeah.
Yes, feel free. Excuse me.
My name is Mayo Chavez, spelled M-A-O-S-H-A, last name V as in Victor, A-L-E-S. I just wanted to ask a question about what is the procedure of the police chases that's going on around here? Because everybody, they're scared to stop by the police because East Cleveland is notorious. East Cleveland police is notorious for killing people. So I just wanted to come because my daughter about to be living in this city. I try to avoid this city because of the reputation that this city has with their police. So I wanted to know, when a police chase gets so serious, why can't the police just stop if they had the license plate numbers and they can easily go to the person's house instead of keep chasing them and pursuing them, involving them to wreck and collide with another car and lose their life? I don't know. I just had to bring it up. I don't know who to talk to, but
This is a start. This is a
I
start.
just can't be quiet. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, every meeting I'll have special guests, whether it's positive or negative, someone that wants to get their word out, whether it's something that we done wrong collectively, individually, whether I agree, disagree, as a citizen, I feel that everyone should have a platform to get their word out. Now, next on our agenda, I've invited our great finance director, Charles Ian, to give a quick overview on the finances of the city. Director Charles.
Good evening, everyone. So Councilor Smith asked me to give a quick overview.
So hold on, time out. And this for everyone, if we could, this is not a regular council meeting, so I would rather we all talk.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I should have thought of that earlier. That's my fault.
So the city's finances are good. They've been good for the past 3 years. And we're going to continue to have finances good. And the city has been able to get some of the American Recovery Plan monies, the American Recovery Plan monies that you may or may not know about. And the mayor has already talked about some of the things that he'd like to do with it, and I believe council has some things they'd like to do with those funds as well. That total is $26 million. That's over two-year period, so we got 13 million already, and we'll get another 13 million next year. So with that being said, the city, this is something that historically the city, I don't think ever had experienced ever for having such a large amount of money come in one time into the city. So I'm hoping that a lot of good is done with the money to strengthen the city, but as far as the finances is concerned, we're caught up in our audits. There's a few corrections that need to be made, but we're right there, fiscal emergency, we're close to getting out of it. It really is the policies and procedures that we need to clean up, but we have no deficits. Again, having such a large amount of money, we're pretty good as far as the books. And so I'm hoping that we can continue prospering, with the funds that we have.
No debt, no debt. No debt, no debt, no debt. No debt, no debt. We're gonna take a few questions. Ms. Hacker, you have a question?
Yes, the money that you have, will that be the completion of Euclid Avenue? Any money there for that?
So the monies that the government gave us, one of the eligible transfers is to do water and sewer. Is to do water and sewer and repairs. So that is something that we can utilize with the money. Whether we do or not, that's something, obviously working with the mayor and council, but those funds are available to do that.
Yeah, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So what about safety and fire, like the fire department, the police department, like you're not just expanding a bunch of people, but actually proper training, proper education, like you're saying, like, prevent people from being hit. I know when the complain about bullet holes at the stop sign, and you call the police department, so there's nothing to do about it. So what are we doing to actually make a place like just safer to walk down the street where they can have caregivers for their loved ones? You know, we don't have to worry about, you know, an issue with calling the police department or these sort of things. So what about safety and just functioning like where I don't feel like I'm dread?
So yeah, that's not necessarily, it has financial components, but that's more of a operational thing that needs to be looked at. And so, but it does have a financial.
Make it happen though. Education's not free.
I could get that question off, but, and I'm pretty sure. our chief of
I missed the
staff-
question. I just got here.
Can you repeat your question, ma'am?
So we're saying we have all this money. We're saying we have no deficit. We're saying yada, 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 we're celebrating like one horn. However, safety continues to be an issue in this city. What about like a fire department, police department? So not just like hiring new people, first of all, make sure we have enough people. Because crime is excessive in this little small area. It's excessive. We're one of the worst places for danger and for our population in the country. So that is a problem, you know, and then not just having people come in, but actually doing education also. So they know how to handle situations, mental health issues, or not killing people if they're walking down the street, you know, in a car chase. Or, you know, just how to handle different situations that are specific to our neighborhood.
Sure, so let me say this first. It is not East Clevelanders that are committing crimes in East Cleveland.
That's right.
There are people coming from outside the community. They're coming from Cleveland, they're coming from Euclid, they're coming from Cleveland Heights, they're coming across 4 hours away. So when people come into this community, they come in and commit crimes. We apprehend more criminals than any other outer ring suburb in the greater Cleveland area, which leads in some cases to police chases. People come in, there's still a car from somewhere, commit a crime, and drive through Cleveland because Cleveland has a no chase policy. So if you're a criminal in Cleveland, all you have to do is get in your vehicle and you're home free. And they think that's the same with East Cleveland. So wherever they're trying to go to, they come through East Cleveland and then we pursue them. Sometimes it works out good, and sometimes it doesn't work out as well as that person thought it should be, particularly in the last few cases. But we have been hiring more police officers. We have postings for police, fire, EMS, dispatch, service. We're like every other community because of what the pandemic has done that has destroyed the employee pool that's out there. We have a piece of legislation out there to curb the police chases. It is actually where there's a projectile that has a GPS signal on it and it shoots it onto the vehicle. Because we've heard the community, we don't like for our police officers to chase people. We don't like people to get killed because they're in a police chase. Whether they're a good person or a bad person, no one should die because they're being chased by the police or for whatever crime that they committed. So there's new technology out there. We have a piece of legislation. It's supposed to come before city council. As a matter of fact, I think the mayor talked to the Councilman Martin about it today. And if we can get these pieces of legislation passed, you will see that police chases will go down dramatically because all the police vehicle has to do is get near the car, shoot the projectile, cut off the chase, and just track them by GPS. But most importantly, we're investing in streetlights. Streetlights is a major issue in this community, not because we can't buy any, not because we can't erect them, it's because these same speeders, drunk drivers, knock down our streetlights. There's some of you who live in the Savannah or Orinoco area. We put the streetlights up, and then a week later, somebody knock them all down, right? But that's part of safety. That's part of safety. If you have young men and young women in your family that are friends of yours, that are good people, and they want to work in law enforcement, they want to work in the safety forces, be a police officer, a firefighter, we have openings. Just like the rest of Ohio, we want to hire. We want to hire. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be meeting with Art McCoy Friday to talk about a community look at how crime is being addressed by the city, right? But we can only do what we're capable of doing. It's not necessarily based on resources anymore. It's based on availability of qualified people, and it's based on the legislation that's needed in order for us to use newer technologies to curb police chasing and just crime in general. So it's not East Clevelanders who are committing these crimes. We chase them, they come from all over, thinking that East Cleveland is a haven, where if they make it through anywhere else, they can come here and they can be safe. But we can't allow those people to think that they're safe when they come to the city, because then you will have serious crime going on a daily basis in this community. Yes, ma'am. I don't know, maybe you want to direct it to the councilman, and if he'd like for me to answer it, I would. Okay. I didn't want to take over this meeting. I don't want to take over this meeting. Yes, ma'am. I wanted to be respectful to the councilman.
What I want to know,
Yes.
you were just talking about. And first of all, you all need to stop cutting people off and everything. We're the citizens, okay? You're talking us a little better. What happens is, I just heard you say, you're hiring policemen.
Yes.
How many have you hired here?
In the last 6 months, we attempted to hire 30. We had 30.
How many have you hired? I didn't say a count.
I just want to give you the full story so you'll understand what we're dealing with. Right? So we had 30 applicants. We We attempted to hire all 30. Some of them, they didn't make it past the background check. Some of them made it past the background check, went and got the physical, and took jobs in other communities, because every community is fighting over the same pool of people. Now they're coming to communities and poaching. So to answer your question, in the last 6 months, we hired about 8 police officers. Well,
The only reason why I asked it is, I hear on TV here recently
yes.
about the police and what trouble they've been in. Some of them in jail, some of them out. Now, that's kind of strange because so anything on the TV or any, there's no announcement that they were actually, I can understand some of them didn't make the police force, or they didn't wanna, they went somewhere else. What I'm saying is, I'm hearing all the bad stuff. And we used to have a very good police department, and we used to have good officers that came around. They might be short of help now, but there's all kind of things to make this place safer. You're not even working on.
Well, you may not be aware of the things that we're working on, but let me say this. Hold on, let me say this. I need to respond. East Cleveland has one of the best police departments in Cuyahoga County. Let me tell you how good it is. And you can snicker all you want. I mean, we got felons here, and they know it because they've been arrested by our East Cleveland police officers. So let me say this. When an East Cleveland police officer commits a crime, it's not like any other community where it gets swept under the rug. The last one that you saw on TV, where you had those 2 police officers who were stopping people and robbing people, that investigation took an hour. The person who got robbed, the last one who got robbed, came into the police department, asked to see the captain of the police force. The captain heard his story, saw some validity in it, called the police officers in. Within an hour, one of them was in an orange jumpsuit. So it wasn't some investigation that was done by the state of Ohio or the FBI. It was done right here. They took these 2 guys off the street by 1 o'clock in the morning. They were at the county facing charges, indicted. Now they're out on bail, but they have their indictments. We had 7 detectives come from Cuyahoga County to handle that investigation. Every time you see an East Cleveland police officer go to jail, it's due to an internal investigation. That's unlike any other community in the United States of America. Where have you heard where there's an internal investigation that leads to the arrest of a police officer? That happens here in East Cleveland. Now, we hire people. They're good people and they're bad people. We got some very good police officers who help residents on a daily basis. When we did the food pantry, it started with a policeman. The policeman helped us box it up. They took it to seniors' homes. They took it into the senior buildings. You live in the 3 towers. They brought it to the senior building. Well, I know for a fact that Nola lives in Building B, and Nola got delivers, right? So let me say this. It is impossible to eliminate crime. There's no way to eliminate crime. We can mitigate it, right? The reason that these police officers don't know you the way they did in the past, because you have senior officers who've been here for 15 and 20 years, and they are the top brass. But the patrolmen that you see every day, they've been here for a year, been here for 2 years. They haven't had an opportunity to develop a relationship with the community before they go and seek another job. So we have people who are, we have.
Hold on, tell me, excuse me. Real respect, this is not a regular council meeting. This is a Ward 3 meeting. We are right on schedule. You just walked in. We are right on schedule. Please don't interrupt.
My last statement, if anybody here have an issue with the police department, we take those issues seriously. You can call the mayor's office, you can schedule a meeting, we'll have the captain there, we'll have the police chief there, we'll have internal affairs there to take those issues. We take those issues seriously. So if you have an issue with the police, if you have a suggestion about safety, we don't turn you away. That's what being a community is all about. I'm done.
No, thank you. I really want to get back on the finances. And we actually have a finance question from a resident. So if you all don't mind, and thank you, Ms. McKnight, thank you very much. This is what we are here for.
Oh, Mr. Ian, it's good to hear about the city finances, as you say, but I just was wondering, how much money do we owe out for lawsuits? Because I hear on the news, like, that one guy said that we owe 50 million, and then the other guy, like 8. So could you tell me how much total does the city owe on the paper for lawsuits, like, on the record?
Well, whether we have judgments, whether it's in litigation, the law director would know really numbers. You mentioned 50. I mean, that's public information out there.
So you say it's around 50 million?
That's not true. That's not true.
I'm just asking, I don't know.
I'm gonna give you an answer, 'cause that's not true. But that is, again, judgments, it's nothing that we owe yet, but it's still pending litigation.
But has a judge ruled that we had to pay that money?
No.
No, okay. So we don't owe any lawsuits?
But moreover, well, we always have these little lawsuits that every comes up. Just even like a claim for action, but something to that magnitude. You talk about, yes, you heard about it, but that still is not, solidified. That's actually what the city owes.
Thank you.
I'm on. Our Director Hemmons can answer it. She's
Yes.
online.
We're gonna stay on, unless the resident say that he didn't get a answer that he wanted, then we'll go to the law director, but if not.
That's a good answer, I appreciate it.
Sure?
Yeah, I just read the paper, it was saying that we owe that money, and now he's saying we don't, so that's good news.
Newspapers are not accurate.
We are the citizens of the city. We elected people to speak. What happened? So I want to get that straightened out. I want to hear from the mayor, if there's a mayor question in reference to how this city operates. He operates the police department, not citizens.
Yes.
The mayor, that's whom we elected. That's whom we wish to hear from. And that's irrefutable. No one can refute that. He's the answer. So in reference to the finance, you are the finance director. You are the one that been certified and also have the bond. You need to answer the finance question, because whatever comes from someone else, you are the one that holds the first string. So we want to hear from you. You are the one that keeps the finance. So no, that's what we want to hear from the citizens.
The residents just heard from them on the finance. I wish you could see their faces while you are talking. Please, you just want. Thank you very, very much for being accessible. You would let me do my job. Ms. McKnight is one of my greatest neighbors. Now, if you would give me time to do my due diligence, I was going to ask Ms. McKnight, would she like to ask a question to the mayor? And I thank the mayor, this is why he is here, to answer the questions. Thank you. Mr. O'May.
No politicking at my meetings. This may be. Ms. McKnight, would you like to address the mayor? Ma'am. Excuse me, please, everybody. Please. Mr. Mays, please. Mr. Mays. Please, Mr. Mays. Ms. McKnight, please, everyone.
Calm down, let's keep order here.
Ms. McKnight, do you have any questions for the mayor regarding police?
We can't hear,
Please, please, Miss, please. Please.
I know at one time, I don't know if it embarrassed or makes me feel bad or feel what, I do know we have had some very good policemen, okay? And I'm not saying I'm personally because of me, I've had people that say it to me. And I don't know anything about the police up here now because I never seen them, okay? To ask them anything, I never seen them. And also I've called up, and I've asked about things, but not the police department. I called the police a couple of times, they never came. Well, whatever, they never got back to me either. All I'm saying is, when you sit up and say, make it sound like the police never did anything, when we're having trouble right now. Are you doing us a credit? I'm telling us everything is all right with the police now? I mean, just say what you have to say. You did say some of it, so say it. I mean, we hear it every day. And I haven't heard anything good. I've seen the police keep on TV. Okay? So that's all I can say. And as far as this killing with these cases, I don't think anybody really likes that. And it should be another way around that. Like, you can't lay the blame on somebody else because you gotta expect East Cleveland has been changing long as it's been at East Cleveland. They went through all kinds of changes in East Cleveland, and we're going through some trying times now. And East Cleveland not just the one. So don't make it sound like, cause I answer questions.
Yeah.
I'm not agreeing with you all because you think, I'm agreeing with you, whatever. If you can't answer my questions, direct to me to the one that can answer. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. McKnight. That's why I made sure that you, make sure you got your voices, heard. Yes, yeah, hold on, you coming around. On that note, I want to thank you, Ms. Walcott. I want to mention the prosecutors meeting that's held in this city. Report on the crime, I believe it's every.
I'm not sure today, I don't wanna give out the wrong.
Okay, but is it still being held at the, not the middle?
During the pandemic, it's a little different.
They're different. But Ms. Walcott wanted her neighbors and residents and neighbors to know that there is a prosecutors meeting where someone from the prosecutor office comes to East Cleveland every month and reports on the numbers of the crime, on the crime rate. Speaking of crime, okay, we're gonna move on. Speaking of crime and everything and health and safety, we're gonna move on to another one of our special guests, Councilman Martin, who's been spearheading a gun buyback program, among other things. Councilman Martin.
Thank you very much. Real brief. The gun buyback program is not just an issue here in East Cleveland, but we have a gun problem in the whole country. We're killing each other left and right. So we came up with that idea. You get $100, no questions asked, if you turn a gun in, and $150 if you have a rifle. But I want to ask Brother Smith about what happened today. Today I was up in the 3 buildings with the mayor, and I left there because I got a phone call from a citizen about a high-speed chase. Okay, I immediately stopped what I was doing and checked out. The car was totaled. Okay, this is the response. We have a good police department. Like anything, some people are bad, most of the people are good. Nothing's perfect out here because we're flawed. Let me read this to you so you can. This said high-speed chase today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today. Let me read this to you. This is from the Chief of Police, Scott Gardner. Even under Cleveland's pursuit policy, this pursuit would have been permissible. Male had multiple warrants
including a felony and parole warrant and crack cocaine in his possession. Originally, he got caught the officer's attention as the officer was working the traffic unit that the male was speeding. Once the officer was able to verify that the male had multiple warrants, the chase continued. The male went across Noble and went airborne and never regained control until his widespread van and then struck a tree. The male apparently did not have his seatbelt on, was partially ejected. The council must understand that if we only pull the vehicles over that stop for us, then there will be no one to pull over. There is no point in attempting to take enforcement action on violators that will refuse to stop, as they do for the city of Cleveland. When you stop chasing people who run, you're only policing those who are decent enough to stop. Now, a police job is a tough job. What we've done here, not just the council, but the administration, is we've been meeting the last few months to get body cams, not the kind that can't take it. These are the best they have in the country. Okay, it's going to cost us money, but we're looking at getting that. The best body cam, these kind they can't take off. The police, you hear me? The police can see, the chief of police can see the body cam from up there, the new technology. Star Chase, our clerk. You have good people. Tracy Udrih, we've been working on that for months. We're gonna have the best technology because we don't want no excuse.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest problem we have with our police department is not that they're effective, and we have good ones and bad ones. The biggest problem we have with the police department is, Brother Smith would agree, is we can't pay them what they deserve. So they go to Cleveland Heights, they go to Cleveland, they stay for 3-4 years, they get good experience, and they're gone. So we have to increase our tax base. That's what we're missing. Nothing is perfect out here. But basically, most of them are decent. We know about the bad ones that took this person's money, but fortunately, they got caught. So pray for us, because this is not a perfect world. But we had a video about a week ago, and we checked out this group that's going to bring these body cams is recommended by the NAACP, the best in the country. So we want our people to have the best equipment. So if you see something wrong, you heard Michael Smith, you heard the mayor, if they're doing something wrong, call up here. Okay, you're citizens, you pay taxes, okay? So don't be reluctant. And I want to say one last thing if I can, Brother Smith. I was up in the 3 buildings today. I've been up there the last 3 weeks with Brother Smith, and thanks for his help. And I spoke to Mr. White. Now, this is what he told me. You need to hear this. I said, I set up a meeting to meet with the people tomorrow at 10 o'clock. He told me this, and this is on record. Well, Mr. Martin, you can't be there, Councilman, because this is an exclusive meeting with the residents, not you. I can't force myself on private property, but you need to hold. I told Sanders, some of the people that, because Brother Smith, we've been working on this for a while. So I said, I'm not going up there to get arrested. But he told me he didn't want me up there. Basically, that's what he said. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I'll be there. Next, we're gonna, I heard the resident, matter of fact, it was Ms. Walcott. So it talked about legislation, which is our job. So now I'm gonna go over, well, I'm gonna present to you a few pieces of legislation that was on the table the past year. And I'm gonna, my other special guest, Councilman Austin, is gonna talk about his program that he does in conjunction with Home Depot. And also going to go over some pieces of legislation that I feel is very, very important and beneficial to the people of East Cleveland. I'm going to start with a piece of legislation. And for the future, anyone that wants copies of this, feel free to reach out. Back in August of 2020, council was presented legislation to accept, as we do every year, CDBG grant funding to pave 5 streets in the city of East Cleveland.
Right.
CDBG funds, free grant money to pave 5, to resurface 5 streets in the city of East Cleveland. I voted yay. Councilman Martin voted yay. Councilman Austin voted yay. This was an emergency. We needed 4 votes. On the record, our president and vice president both voted nay. I'm just reporting because I know that we haven't been able to have a meeting. Everyone, I guess I can say everyone has the right to vote how they want. If you have any questions, I would say direct any questions to them.
Because it was more than 5 streets.
Oh.
So that's.
It's supposed to be a lot of streets.
Please, can we,
You put my name out there. You put my name out.
Excuse me, ma'am.
They
What's the
voted,
order?
we all had a sheet, they cheated, and guess what? They did what they wanna do, like the city looking right now, they still doing what they wanna do. And me and Martin also told everybody that they get $1,000, the residents.
This is a Ward 3 meeting.
Trying to steal the money. Residents, they trying to steal the money, the ones that actually have a room.
Excuse me. Of course, I knew this would be a little controversial. I'm telling you how.
They want to throw somebody up on the bus. They the one that need to be up under the bus.
That's not it.
Because they skipping the real street and getting their friends.
So you only have funds to be
Hiding information.
Then they hide information. That's what they doing, they giving y'all. And then he using his family for an excuse to be up here.
Can I finish, please? The action plan. I did hear a resident say that she wished the building the house director was here. I also wish he was here, but we can have him here next meeting. The action plan that is tabled is putting in jeopardy. The passing of the action plan is putting in jeopardy. It's holding up the Martin Luther King renovations, street projects, youth and adult, including, you ever heard of Powell and Benjamin Road? Paint program, the emergency repair home and lead program, street lights, the entire budget for the building and housing is in jeopardy when you don't pass the action plan.
What's the safety plan?
None. There is none.
Let's stay in order. This is all about
This is
safety.
all about his friends that he already had picked out.
Excuse me.
It's not about.
Excuse me, let's please stay in order. Street lights are safety. The Martin Luther King Civic Center, safety.
And y'all not putting them back up, that's what I heard.
Let me see, hold on. Time out. I know you are one of my guests. I know you are not a resident of East
I am a
Cleveland.
resident of East Cleveland, but not a Ward 3 though.
Let's calm down and stay on track, please.
I'm just saying.
This is a Ward 3 meeting. Please. Again, so long as the action plan is tabled, we are at risk, including safety.
Yes, I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm scared for you. Another piece of legislation, let's stay on track. It's all right. I understand people are frustrated. It's okay. It's okay. This here is a contractor that did us a service, and it was a fire on Noble. It was emergency fire, had an emergency demo. This is the information. As my colleagues have the right to, they said they didn't have enough information. The contractor still haven't been paid and threatened to sue the city. Again, you have to ask those individuals why. Here's the information. Again, maybe they don't have all the information that they need. I don't know. I brought this packet because, you know, it's to the point where it's an insult to our great clerks when individuals say they don't have enough information. This is a cancel meeting. A cancel meeting, which our president cancels meetings all the time. And this is a lot of information to go to waste that both of our clerks work on just to have our meetings canceled. This is one of our clerks right here, Tracy. Feel free when I leave to talk to her. Maybe I'm up here feeling. Maybe I'm just up here making things up.
Or just give us the cost that she's canceling.
Please, I don't understand this.
I don't even understand. I mean, you're right, even if you present all this stuff to us, but you're not giving us the reason for it. You're not even in Ward 3.
I think he's bringing it up so you can ask the people that.
Okay, ask your people.
All right, I can't answer for anyone else.
It's just politics.
This is
Okay, let me, you know what, I respect you and who you are in your position.
one of your neighbors. Hold on. One of your neighbors is answering for you because you're right. Mama, I can say anything. Please, Miss.
I'm
Miss
just
O.
saying it's something that people need to know.
Yes, something I need to know too.
So did you get that? Is that a sufficient answer?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Earlier this year, the budget was held up. Had the judge online begging. Yeah, had Judge Dawson online begging for council to pass the budget. Ask members in this room that have been on the Zoom meetings. I'm really keeping this meeting very positive. Very, very positive. And Councilman Austin is gonna continue on this skeleton I just laid down. Thank you.
Councilman Austin. First of all, I want to say I want to thank you. I'm grateful for this opportunity to start coming back together because.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, no, go ahead. Make sure you talk about the Euclid Avenue project.
I will. When you show up in these seats right here, it makes a difference. Because oftentimes somebody will say something to you on the phone or on Zoom, they won't say to your face. They will, it's been some instances where it's very critical that we get Euclid Avenue finished. And I wish the mayor would stay because we got some quality control issues that we've been missing. You know, saying that we wouldn't allow certain elements that's in the street to stay in the street while they're being worked on in Shaker. And not even up the road in Cleveland Heights because they have people that care enough to get out there and make sure the quality control needs are being met so you don't tear your vehicles up. And when I first moved back here, I lost 6 tires over that winter. And the response was, you don't know what potholes are yet? I don't. I shouldn't have to. There is a medium that we pay for, and the acronym that the great council uses with CDBG is Community Development Block Grant Funding. So I kind of want to share that because those are government dollars that are sitting here to help us in this community as we begin to thrive and to flourish. They're not dollars that's used for the hookup. They're not doing you a favor if they use those dollars for the purpose in which they are intended. And that's what we do here as a council. We make sure that they are appropriated correctly and they're used in accordance with the way they are appropriated. Making sure the color of money matches the tasks that are aligned under those colors. So that's hopefully everybody can keep up with that for me. So with the information that Councilor Smith has provided about the way the council votes, that's very important. So when I said I appreciate seeing you all here, it makes a difference because I can remember it was a couple of councilors that said, we're gonna do this, we're gonna vote this, we're gonna hold this up so the mayor's mission cannot be accomplished to take care of you and the employees of this great city. But when the residents showed up, sat here and looked at their council folks like this, both the way you was talking about in a selfish way, and we're gonna handle it. So when I tell you that I'm happy to see you, I'm not telling you that because I think it's cool to say. I'm telling you that because I mean it. And there's some folks that act in a way that's not representative of me. Period. So if you think that as a resident, you don't have a say in the person that go forward to represent you When they stop representing the way that you will perform, they're a mirror image of what you would have them to be. If they fail to do that, let them know. I got some information because I volunteered to help with voter registration. So I have all the information you need with the dates, and I didn't get a chance to put it in the back because you normally have a table out there. I didn't see a table. I don't want to just throw it on the bench. But I have the dates for the upcoming events that you need to be aware of. I have mail-in ballot information so you can mail your ballots in as necessary. I also have voter registration documents for those who need to register. Make sure that your address aligns with your identification if you are checked. So just kind of bear with me for 1 second. There is a summer training event that's taking place. The last 3 years I've been doing this, working with the Salvation Army, the Home Depot, and the Windermere Renaissance Board. Windermere Renaissance Board is a very small board. They've always had resources to provide to us, the community. Keeping that garden in Euclid and Page taken care of. I mean, we used to have a lot of volunteers to show up, but after the pandemic kicked in, there's been really no volunteers. And I don't blame them because I don't want to get sick either. But these are the people that care about us enough to give. There is a community development, a community grant offered by Home Depot. It's $25. They often go unused. Guess why? Because some of the communities don't reach out and ask. So what I would like to do is y'all find out a project in your small itty bitty neighborhood, and let's start going to Home Depot so these summer $25 grants don't go unused, whether it's for mulch, whether it's for dirt, and oftentimes what they'll do, if they have some resources that are bags are torn, they'll donate them to you. So there are opportunities that I want you to be aware of that we can start taking advantage of right now because they understand they're great community, correction, I should say corporate partners of ours. And I'm getting through my list as fast as I can.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna present to you this month's training. I'm gonna put some flyers in the back. This is our summer series, and we've been doing this for, like I said, the last 3 years, at least since I've been on council. And it's not been well broadcast because I put it out to folks that wanna listen. So this first event is gonna take place at the Salvation Army. They haven't earmarked which classroom it's gonna take place on. I'm gonna put these in the back on August the 4th from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, just 1 hour. We come together, we talk about the things that are going on. I'm indeed gonna put them in the back. And then once the training is over, Home Depot has always provided something that you can take home and actually use, whether it's a hand snake to help you clear your drain, something to stop your gutter from being stopped up. They've always put together some hand tools, something that's actually beneficial, something you can take home and put in operation right now to make your situation a little bit better. So I'm gonna continue to do that training. And as far as the 3 towers, I don't know how it worked out, but I know that it was by invite. So they invited myself and Councilor Smith was the spearhead over there. And they asked him, to come in and make sure that the people that live there are well represented. And he's done a phenomenal job this evening. And, this is how it's supposed to be. Not sometimes, but all the time. So Councilor Smith, to you, it's like a high five, my way. So I will be there at that meeting because again, I come with an open heart and I was invited. So respectfully. Somebody mentioned the street lights. We didn't have a electrical contractor within the service department or on our staff. However, the administration, to their credit, has went out and actually sought couple of different contracts to go out and re-erect those lights. Based on the infrastructure that we're working with, it's a little bit more involved, not just hooking up a wire across the top. No, we have to actually set bases, platform, concrete work, electrical work, and then reconnect into a system that is, sometimes not as, sound as it should be. So just so you know, if it's a metal pole, the city owns it. If it's a wooden pole that gets knocked down, then that's CEI. We have to go outside of the city to get those things taken care of. So when you take a look at that, you'll know what's going on. I am the General Service Administration Committee person. So as it pertains to the infrastructure of the city, I'm supposed to know a little bit more than some of my colleagues. And same with health and safety, personnel and appointments, and contracts and property. So I'm going to share a little bit more about how we move forward and get the things that we have. And again, safety is indeed paramount to me. Because as I listen to the concern about safety, Councilor Martin is health and safety, but I care enough as a resident and a person that there are some things that we can do better. We start asking people to turn your porch light on. It's gonna cost you an extra $1 or something on your light bill, but again, when it comes to making sure somebody can walk down the street from one end to the other, if everybody had a porch light on going down that street, I feel a little safer. And I have to make sure I turn my porch light on because if I don't, somebody's gonna be testing ADT. I got ADT, just so you know. But we have to do a little bit more. We've been talking about this is a community, one more minute. This is a community meeting. So I want to talk about how we bring our resources to bear so they start connecting. Like, I'm from here to there. If you pick up the next block to where you need to be, then that means that our whole community is covered one way or another. And if you see something, what they say something. And engaging the police, I speak to them every time I see them. Tell them how great they are. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, because they gotta run in sometimes when somebody stabbing somebody. They gotta run behind somebody that they know is willing to shoot because they shot before. That dude said that dude had all those warrants for his arrest. You know, some people won't face a grown up. And these guys go out there every day and face a grown up. They get it wrong sometimes. They don't even, I'm gonna tell you a quick story, then I'm gonna get off the mic if you will. Myself and Councilor Smith got some calls because these guys, the police were going to tell like 5 or 6 vehicles out of his driveway. We have an ordinance in place that says that we're gonna give our residents 72-hour notice before we tow their stuff because they got 72 hours to go fix the problem. When I got there, they called us and we noticed that there was no stickers on or no placards on the vehicle saying 72 hours. I said, well, you know, if we say we're gonna do this way, the residents should have the decency and the mindset to accept whatever we give them because it's in an ordinance or a means that we can inform you of this is how we're gonna do this process. And when we, as the leadership, well, I mean, she didn't say, but as the government violates their own policy, we have to say something. So myself and Councilor Smith stood there until they dropped all those vehicles, put them back in the driveway, marked the vehicles like they supposed to. It was a young officer that was right over here. A sergeant told him, do this. The sergeant totally ignored it. The patrolman totally ignored what the sergeant said. The chief of police, mayor, chief of staff, mayor's executive assistant, all these folks came over here because there's one police officer that said he's not gonna do what they say. If they're not gonna do what each other says from a leadership perspective, I'm telling you that I'm not gonna try to glorify it's a problem. So when I see a chief of police show up, he showed up because he cared enough. Got the officer straight, got all the vehicles put back in the yard, the ones that he wanted back in the yard. And I'll tell you that these are things that are systematically being addressed and being fixed. No, I'm not the police, no, it's he. But we both cared enough to stand out there in the sun until they got right. So we got people that's willing to go out and truly be on the front line for you in a good way. So I don't want to sugarcoat it. That's a fact. If the police sergeant can't tell the police patrolman what to do, the problems are not just when they're out there on the street. It's individual decisions that they make to do something wrong. So we gotta start slowly but surely fixing those and rooting those folks out so they can truly represent what we want them to represent. To go out and serve and protect us, not protect us. Correction, protect themselves from us. So as I get ready to close out, so there has been some council meeting, agenda review. Let me tell you what that does for us. Can I one more? Agenda review. The agenda review is a rollout of everything that's going to be on the agenda and give us, the council folks, an opportunity to invite presenters to say, yeah, tell me what this is about before I vote on. And with those meetings having been canceled, maybe we have one agenda review in the last 6 months. How long has it been since we had an agenda review, Council Vice President?
We supposed to, as y'all said, it's on break, but we have council meetings this month.
Agenda review.
We had about last month.
We had an agenda review last month?
I think it was last month.
Council, were you there?
We didn't have one last month.
Okay, well, y'all hear that? We didn't have an agenda review last month, but it's very important. When that does, that gives us the opportunity.
We started our debate.
Okay, well, let me have one second, please. The reason that I'm mentioning that is because sometimes we get to a meeting and some people say, well, I don't understand or I have not read. If we had an agenda review, when it comes to time to make a decision, you are well informed, you are empowered with what it takes to truly represent your interests. And that's all I have. And I have another note, but God bless you. Thank you.
We know over time, Euclid Avenue was also tabled, the completion of Euclid Avenue here, the information. So, with the TMI, for example, I know for a fact, residents saw individual that they had been looking for, was able to express their concern. For example, Ms. McKnight was able to express her concerns to individuals who she has been looking for. that's what will continue to happen. I will continue to update you all on legislation, finances, projects, your concerns. We're gonna meet here the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. Again, as some of you know, I like to have meetings on street corners sometime, and I like to put up the people's tent when the youngsters are out there shooting, because when you mix in good people with challenged people, sometimes the challenged people sometimes move up the street. Turn to some people in this room. You can even ask them, do we put a tent out there where the people be shooting at? I have no problem. As a matter of fact, I beg you of that. There's we have a long way to go. A very, very long way to go. But I do believe we will get there with us organized. Not only do we need to organize for East Cleveland, but we need to organize for the state. For the state level, we need to get our voting numbers up. So this is not just about East Cleveland. As I stated, when I met a lot of you all 3-4 years ago, I am here for you. I do not like the politicking. I invited you to a meeting just to let you know, because I know people like Ms. Hatcher is going to kill me. I do have my petition, but I refuse to break my petition out tonight, because that's not what I called you up here for. Now, I do have a timetable, so I will be contacting a few of you to hopefully I've earned your signature on my petition. But just to let you know, before some of you ask, I will not break out my petition tonight. I'd rather come to your house, because that's not what I invited you here for. Again, Ms. Brooks has her. I'm not knocking anyone. I encourage you to sign Ms. Brooks' petition. She's not the one who invited you here. So she's not doing anything that I just mentioned that I wouldn't do. I want to thank all of you all. Dr. Rice, please.
Is it possible for me to make a quick announcement?
Absolutely, please.
Firstly, good evening, one and all. I won't take long, and I have a cafeteria voice, so hopefully you can hear. I just want to say the schools are be opening soon. So our children are the wealth of East Cleveland. How many of you believe that? Yeah. I definitely do. That's our wealth. And you know, I sit on the school board. We have some great children in the East Cleveland schools. And I'm so thankful that House Bill 70 that we have been fighting for so long is taking a tail dive. So thank God for that. Truly, truly, truly. I do want to say that East Cleveland School Board, we will be back in control of the district. It's going to be some months, but we will be back in control. We are going to schedule a series of meetings, and a couple of them are going to be on Wednesday, but I'm going to talk with you so that we can, the school board is going to schedule a series of meetings. I would love for you to come to the meetings. We need to re-envision our schools. What do we want it to look like? What are some of the things that you know that you want to see the school board take care of? Please, 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 when I'll try to get it out every kind of way I possibly can, but come to the meetings, share with us your thoughts about the children and your schools. That's your tax money, and our children are our wealth, so it's worth our time. Thank you very much, Councilman, for allowing me to say that. That's right.
In closing, I want to give greetings to our neighbors in the Forest Hill group. They are here in spirit. They are actually out providing information about the stimulus package. But they wanted me to let you know that they said hello and they are here in spirit. I want to close on a positive note. Every Sunday, Ward 3 Sunday Fun Day will be at Mayfair from 2 to 6, starting in August, the second weekend, August 8th, all through August and September. We're going to have senior programs. We're going to have the bouncy houses. We're going to have the game truck, the face paint, giveaways, household items. I think a lot of you know how I like to serve the community with our community programs. Yes, Mr. Blunt.
What decided on Euclid Avenue? When the deadline? They don't continue to, fix it up. Because we keep going down.
Don't get me started. It was in front of
It
us.
should be done. Somebody should told us when the deadline.
Well, like you was about to say, the legislation was before us, and it was voted down. So that would delay us until around November. There was two issues, and I want to be factual with you. There was two issues. One, we wanted to get the legislation passed, which we did not. And the other part, there was some logistics challenges. That means that some parts that some supplies they needed in order to complete Euclid Avenue had to be done in the right order. The water line replacement supplies were not available, and they won't be available. However, we wanted to get the legislation and the dollars allocated or appropriated properly. We were not able to do that because certain members of the council voted against getting the legislation passed. And that's the whole truth.
And the materials is because, a lot of it because of the COVID.
Right.
It's not voted down, it was just tabled, y'all. They just politics.
It was voted down, it was voted down, brought back up, and
We
then
told them they
tabled.
were
It's
gonna
on the
table it
record.
because they keep on raising the
It's on
money
the record.
up, and we don't know. where
Anyway,
it's
thank you for coming. Yes, ma'am.
They trying to rob you.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
I'm Heather Dills. I live on Orinoco.
Oh, you hold on, you have the people, so you are a real person.
I am the real person.
She on my Facebook, we have only like 2 mutual friends, so I
Well,
get
that's my
kind of.
question for you. I was gonna
Oh, I
ask you,
get,
do you need volunteers for Sunday Fun Day? And if you do, when I message you, please message me.
not that I know you a real individual.
I am a real person.
I apologize.
We met when I first moved here 3 years ago, Councilman Smith.
On the corner, by the
Yes.
field.
I'm a real person. I work for the Board of Elections. I'm a real person.
And on that note, I close. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming. Thank you, Ward 3, for coming out tonight. Yes, thank you.